Did you open this video yourself? No. Someone decided you would see it. Not a person. A machine. The algorithm hides its power behind the word recommendations. The studio boss was honest. He didn't hide that he was deciding for millions. Here's the paradox. In the 1920s, you had no choice, but the system was honest. Today, you have millions of videos, but you only see 20, and you think you're free.
If you could go anywhere in the whole world, where would you go?
I always wanted to go on a movie set.
Yeah?
Yeah, a movie set.
Tell me why.
Why?
Yeah, tell me why.
In the 1920s, one man in an expensive suit decided who would become a star and who would remain nobody. In the film Babylon, a waiter becomes a director's assistant overnight because the studio boss decided so. One word, and you're either on the poster or forgotten forever. Today, you open YouTube and see 20 videos on the homepage. Who chose them? The algorithm. Lines of code that study your every click, every pause, every video you watched to the end. It knows what you'll watch at 3 a.m. when you can't sleep. It knows what you'll click on, even if you don't know it yourself. The studio boss controlled what you watched for 2 hours in a theater. The algorithm controls your attention 24/7. So who's more dangerous? The visible power of one person who can be overthrown, or the invisible power of a machine that pretends to care about your interests? 3 experts are about to find out. Basic positions. Film historian. Hollywood, 1926. A girl named Nellie is dancing at a producer's party. By morning, she's already on set. Camera, lights, cut, and Nellie becomes a silent film star. But only if the studio boss says yes. This person controlled everything. Who to film, who to show. Actors signed contracts, essentially sold themselves to the studio. Want to star in another film? Can't. The boss doesn't like you? Career over. Studios even assigned assistants to stars, spies who reported their every move. Audiences had no choice. You came to the theater, you watched what the studio decided to show. Everyone saw the same thing. Technology expert. Now a different picture. You open YouTube. 20 videos on the homepage. Where are they from? The algorithm. It looks at everything you did before, which videos you watched, where you paused, what you liked. It remembers and says, this person likes cat videos and space documentaries. I'll show them more. You watched a bread baking video once. That's it. The algorithm decided you love baking. The next 3 days, recipes for buns, cakes, croissants? You didn't ask for this. The machine decided on its own. This is called personalization. Millions of videos on YouTube, but you'll only be shown those that fit according to the machine. You choose from 20 options that the algorithm already selected from a million. Media sociologist. Both control your attention. The question is just how. The studio boss is visible power. A living person makes decisions. He wants money, so he chooses films that will appeal to the masses. All viewers watch the same thing. No personalization. But there is a shared cultural experience. The algorithm is invisible power. No one knows exactly how it works. A black box. It shows everyone something different. Sounds like freedom, but it's another kind of control. The algorithm creates the illusion of choice. You think you're choosing videos yourself, but you're choosing from what's already been offered to you. The difference? One controls the crowd. The other controls each person individually. First clash. Film historian. Wait, doesn't the algorithm give more freedom? The studio boss showed everyone the same thing. The rich man and the poor man, the New Yorker and the Texas farmer. Everyone sat in the theater and watched one film. And YouTube shows each person something different. Me, philosophy, you, cooking, someone else, football. Where's more control here? Maybe the algorithm freed us from one person's dictatorship. Technology expert. Fair enough. But wasn't the studio boss at least understandable? He's a living person. You could go to his office, convince him, negotiate. You understood what he wanted. Money, fame, power. And the algorithm? A black box. Lines of code. Nobody knows why it shows this particular video and not another. Even YouTube's own engineers don't fully understand how it makes decisions. Media sociologist. Here comes an unexpected twist. Maybe you're both missing the main point. The studio boss wanted money. He made films that would bring in box office. YouTube's algorithm is also tuned for money. It shows videos that will make you watch longer, so it can sell more ads. The goal is the same. Before, one person controlled the attention of millions. Now one program controls the attention of billions. Is this progress? Both systems are designed for money. The studio boss wanted theaters to be full. YouTube wants you to watch as long as possible. That's how more ads get sold. Conflict escalation. Deepening into philosophical foundations. Film historian. Yes, I admit, the algorithm gives more variety on the surface. But let's dig deeper. The studio boss's power was absolute, but visible. Babylon shows the moment when silent films give way to talkies, and the studios decide who among the stars fits and who doesn't. Nellie Leroy, a silent film star, speaks with an accent. The bosses decide she won't fit in. That's it. Career over. Harsh, but understandable. Dictatorship had one unexpected advantage. A shared cultural code. When everyone watches the same thing, society has common topics of conversation, common heroes, common values. Yes, the boss imposed his taste, but that taste united people. Where do I agree? Yes, the goal was money, but the boss at least risked his reputation. If he made bad films, the studio lost money and he could be fired. The algorithm has no such accountability. It just plays what holds attention, even if it destroys society. Technology expert. I admit, the algorithm is indeed opaque. But let's be honest, the studio boss wasn't understandable to most people either. An ordinary viewer in the 1920s could walk up to a mogul and negotiate. That's a myth. The boss was protected by an army of assistants, security, a system. An ordinary person had no influence. Now about the algorithm. Yes, it's a black box. But here's the nuance. The algorithm reacts to your actions instantly. The studio boss decided once a year which films to make, and that was it. You lived with that choice. The algorithm learns every second. You stopped watching baking videos, it stopped showing them. You clicked on an ocean documentary, it showed 5 more. This isn't freedom, but it's more responsiveness than the studio boss had. Where do I agree? Yes, we lost a shared cultural code. Now everyone lives in their own bubble. The algorithm shows you only what you already like. You don't see anything new, anything that could change your perspective. The studio boss could at least show you something unexpected. Media sociologist. You're both right, But you're missing the key difference. The type of power has changed. The studio boss controlled supply. He decided which films existed. The algorithm controls perception. It decides which videos you'll see from the millions that exist. These are fundamentally different mechanisms. The boss was a censor. He forbade filming certain topics. The algorithm doesn't forbid filming anything. It simply makes some videos visible and others invisible. A creator can upload a video to YouTube, but if the algorithm decides it doesn't fit viewers, no one will see it. Where do I agree with both of you? The goal is the same: maximize profit. But the studio boss was human. He could make mistakes, change his mind, take risks for art's sake. The algorithm can't change its mind. It optimizes one metric: watch time. It doesn't understand quality, importance, cultural value. It only understands this video holds attention or it doesn't. Central Revelation Synthesis. Film historian. Direct answer: the algorithm controls more. Here's why. The studio boss controlled your time in the theater. 2 hours, 1 film. The algorithm controls you 24/7. It knows when you wake up, what you watch at breakfast, what you watch before bed. It shapes not individual impressions, but your daily information space. Example from Babylon. The studio boss decided whether Nellie would become a star, but he couldn't control what she thought about off the set. The algorithm controls exactly that. What ideas enter your head every day. What thoughts you consider normal. What topics you even know exist. This is total control of the perception of reality. Technology expert. The algorithm, without a doubt. The studio boss controlled the industry, a narrow layer of actors, directors, theater audiences. YouTube's algorithm controls 2.7 billion users monthly. The scale is incomparable. But the main thing is the speed of adaptation. The studio boss changed strategy once every few years. The algorithm changes every second based on data from billions of interactions. It sees what works right now, this very minute, and instantly adjusts. If a scandal video keeps people watching longer, the algorithm will start showing more scandals. If cats make people click, there will be more cats. The consequences? You think you're choosing freely, but in reality, you're choosing from 20 options that the machine already selected from a million. This isn't freedom. This is managed choice. Media sociologist. Philosophical climax. The algorithm. And here's why. It's invisible. The studio boss could be criticized. You could fight him. He could be replaced. When a system is unfair but visible, you can stand against it. The algorithm can't be criticized because it's unclear how it works. You can't fight what you can't see. Example, in the 1930s, actors created unions and began fighting against the studio's dictatorship. Eventually, the studio system collapsed by the 1960s. But how do you fight an algorithm? It's not human. There's nothing to hold it accountable for. It simply operates by programmed rules. Maximize views, maximize profit. The consequence? We don't even realize we're being controlled. The studio boss was honest about his power. He didn't hide that he was deciding for you. The algorithm creates the illusion that you're free. And that makes its control absolute. Practical conclusions. Film historian. The main insight: it's not about who controls more. It's that the type of control has changed. The studio boss managed culture top-down, harshly but openly. The algorithm manages bottom-up by studying us and adapting to our weaknesses. At the beginning, I thought the boss was worse. Now I see the algorithm is more dangerous precisely because we don't feel its power. What does this mean for you? When you open YouTube, remember, what you see isn't random. Someone decided to show it to you. Only now, it's not a person, but a system. Technology expert. The main insight. At first I thought the algorithm at least responds to the user. Now I see. This response is the tool of control. The algorithm doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you want right now, reinforcing your impulsive choices. What I didn't see, the studio boss, though a dictator, sometimes took risks, did something unpredictable. The algorithm never risks. It always chooses the safe, proven option. That's why we live in an era of endless sequels and repetitive content. The main point, if YouTube only shows you what you already like, you stop growing. The studio boss could show you something new against your will, and that was cruel, but sometimes it opens your eyes. Media sociologist. The main insight. Both systems are tools of capitalism, just at different stages. The studio boss was a capitalist of the industrial era. He produced a product, films, and sold it. The algorithm is capitalism of the data era. It doesn't produce content. It produces attention and sells it to advertisers. What I didn't see before, the studio system was cruel, but it had a human factor. Mistakes, emotions, unexpected decisions. The algorithm eliminated the human factor. And that made the system more efficient, but less humane. The main point, the algorithm isn't a new studio boss. It's something worse. It's a system that studies your weaknesses and uses them against you. Every day, every second, under the guise of caring about your interests. Synthesis. The studio boss from Babylon and YouTube's algorithm pursue the same goal: maximize profit through control of attention. The boss determined which films existed. The algorithm decides which videos you'll see. The key difference? The boss was a visible dictator. The algorithm is an invisible manipulator, controlling each person individually through personalized control of perception. In the 1920s, viewers had no choice, but there was honesty in the system. Now on YouTube, there are millions of videos, but the algorithm shows you 20 based on your history. The paradox, the more content exists, the less you actually see. The machine creates a bubble around you of similar videos. The studio boss could be overthrown. By the 1960s, the system collapsed. The algorithm can't be overthrown. It's invisible, distributed, and adaptive, adjusting to each person's weaknesses. The studio boss controlled 2 hours a week. The algorithm controls your information space 24/7. When you open YouTube, it's not a library where you freely choose. It's a store where the merchandise is arranged so you'll buy a particular thing. Every video on the homepage is the result of a machine's calculation that has studied your weaknesses. So who really decides what you watch? The studio boss ruled Hollywood for 40 years, until people rebelled. Algorithms have been ruling our attention for 15 years already, and we don't even realize we're under control. Here's what I want you to do right now. Open your YouTube homepage, look at the 20 videos, and ask yourself, do I want to watch this myself? Or did the machine decide I want this? Write in the comments, what did the algorithm show you today? And honestly answer, is this what you were looking for? Or what was slipped to you? If this video made you think about who controls your attention, subscribe. Because I break down topics like this every week. No fluff. Only what makes you rethink reality. The game has changed. Now at least you know the rules. What you do next depends only on you. You thought you opened this video yourself? Now you know the truth.